Yeah. Are you still playing with Erykah Badu?
Not like, I guess I shouldn't say I haven't officially not done it. I just like haven't done it in a long time.
She doesn't play a ton.
She doesn't play a ton, and when she does, she doesn't like rarely brings a guitar player.
Yeah.
I think the last time I played with her was here in town at like the Profit Bar or the Door or something, like for a big Thanksgiving show or something. But yeah, I would like to.
Yeah,
I mean that's one
a
of
cool gig.
That's been one of my most favorite gigs to do. But. Yeah, just whenever, if she calls, I'll be there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How did you get involved with that scene? I guess are you from here? Where are you
from California.
Okay, yeah, I knew that. I feel like I knew that.
Yeah.
That's right, because you're a Raiders fan.
Well, no, I'm a 49ers fan.
That's right, you're a Niners fan.
But I mean, what are they, 1-11?
Yeah.
So I think maybe by default I'm sort of rooting for the Cowboys just because it's like I know I'm not supposed to, but like all my friends are, and so it's like, well, if your friends are happy, you'll be happy.
That's not the sports mentality.
No, it's not.
That goes again. That's humanity mentality.
Yeah,
but that's definitely not sports team mentality.
Yeah, but if they were to totally choke in the playoffs, I'd be like silently, because I grew up rooting for the Niners when it was like the Niners and the Cowboys every year in the NFC Championship in the early 90s.
That's right.
Steve Young and Jerry Rice and all those guys. So
those were good times.
Those were good times. It was a good time for football.
So how did you end up at
let's answer
TCU?
your other question.
Yeah, how did you end up in Fort Worth at TCU?
Kind of random. I didn't even really know about the school until my guidance counselor at high school sort of like recommended it, because I was looking. I kind of knew what I wanted in a college, which was a degree that involved advertising and public relations, which is what my parents do. Right. So I was like, well, let's follow the family lineage or whatever. But I was also really involved in track and field in college or in high school. So I decided to do that in college. And so I walked onto the team at TCU. And
oh, wow.
Yeah. So those two things really were kind of what sold me on the school. So I came out here, I was like one of the only guys in my peer group that left the state of California. Right. So I was like, well, I was going to do this thing, whatever. But, the music scene is what kept me here, obviously. I got involved in the gospel music scene in Fort Worth kind of towards the end of college. And just through that kind of figured out that I could kind of make a living doing this just as like a freelance player. That the concept of being a freelance musician, I didn't even know what that was until I was almost out of college. Right. I thought if you were going to be a successful musician, or if you were going to be a professional musician, you had to be in like the world's most famous rock and roll band or something. And so I was like, well, maybe my band will get signed. Like that's how growing up, that's how you thought you had to do it.
Well, that's probably how it was back then.
Probably.
It's not like that anymore.
Yeah. But I started reading about these guys in guitar magazines that were like doing session work or like touring with different people. And I was like, well, okay, I can do that. Maybe I'll try and get pretty good at a couple different styles and, figure out how to kind of be a mercenary, I guess. Yeah. And so I got into gospel music, just listening to it and then all of a sudden realized that there was this huge scene for that around here. And so I played at a bunch of churches, played on people's, records and demos and performances and whatnot. And there's a direct connection with the gospel scene here with the R&B and hip hop and soul and funk scene here as well. So that's kind of how the Badu thing came about, long story short. Basically.
Yeah, that probably skips a lot of steps.
I skipped a lot, but we don't have that much time. So, whoops, that was my chair. Squeaky chair.
But so you did that. I guess the gospel scene in Dallas is kind of where it's at now. There isn't really one around here anymore. Well, specifically,
yeah. I mean, it's
unless you're lumping them together.
I kind of am in that there's definitely like some cross pollination as far as musicians playing at different churches and living in different places. But Kirk Franklin was originally from here, and so he kind of was one of the guys that kind of got it all started. But a lot of the musicians that sort of are involved in the gospel and R&B scene went to Booker T. Washington High School in Dallas. Yeah. And so there's kind of a crew of guys that came up through there that were really involved in establishing like that sound in Dallas. But, it's funny, like when people ask me where I'm from, it depends on who's asking. Right. Sometimes I'll say Dallas. Yeah. And then sometimes I'll say Fort Worth. Yeah. You know, just because if I know the person, if I have a feeling as to the person's background musically, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm from Dallas. And I'm like, oh cool, yeah, Badu, Kirk Franklin, all that.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
But then if they're more maybe involved in Americana or country or indie rock or something, I'll say, oh yeah, I'm from Fort Worth.
Right.
You know,
right.
But you know, it's funny, man. I wish there wasn't such a divide. Maybe I'm making that up. But,
no, there's a huge divide for sure.
But at the same time, it's kind of cool that there is because it makes each city individual.
Yeah.
But at the same,
it transcends a lot more than music. That divide.
Oh yeah, food
and just
bars,
culture overall.
Yeah.